Are you home right now, Lisa?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm heading home right now.
What? Already?
I can already see the house. I'll be there immediately.
Now's not a really good time. I've got an online meeting coming up.
It's fine. Just do your work. I'll just come and leave without bothering you. Just leave the door unlocked, will you?
The door's already unlocked. What are you going to be doing here?
What? Isn't it obvious? I'm just coming to give you some food I cooked.
Mrs. Johnson, I appreciate the gesture, but I don't really need the food. We've already got a lot of food to eat at our house.
But I'm sure my son wants to eat his mother's food once in a while. I made a lot just so I could give you some.
You do know that I'm a food researcher, right? I make all kinds of food every day. I always serve my family the best food. So we really do have enough to eat, Mrs. Johnson.
Quit bragging. You say you're a food researcher, but you basically just do housework, right? It's not much more than being a housewife.
Actually, no. I pity my son and grandchildren for having to eat the things you make for this hobby of yours. Put yourself in their shoes for once, won't you? I don't make food as a hobby. The recipes I make have been well thought out, and I'm proud to release them to the public. It's not like I force them to eat the failures I make as well. I have confidence in every aspect of my cooking: taste, nutrition, and looks.
Well, they do look good, I guess. But there's no way that they're healthier than old-fashioned food that I make. It's food that my son has been eating since he was born, after all. Nothing tastes better than the mother's cooking.
I get it. Leave your food at our house if you wish. We'll eat it gratefully.
You should have said that at the start. You really are a strange wife.
But please don't take any food from our house, alright? You always take food to eat for dinner, don't you?
I already took some.
What? You already got here?
The food I brought is in the fridge. I took some food in return.
You didn't take the salted pork, did you?
You mean the big slab of pork? It looked like it was about to rot, so I brought it home.
I had it prepared from the day before, and we were planning on eating it tonight. It's my son's favorite, so please bring it back.
But I'm already on my way home. If you didn't want me to take it, then you should have written a note saying so. How confusing.
But didn't you just suddenly barge in?
What do you mean, barge in? I brought some food because I was worried about my son's health.
I'm grateful for the food you gave, but please don't take food from us. My son and husband always look forward to the food I make. They even ask me what's for dinner every evening.
You're saying that your food, which only looks good, is better than my cooking? Don't be ridiculous. Is it fun making fun of others' goodwill?
Mrs. Johnson, I'm going to tell you this straight. What you're doing is a nuisance. Please don't bring any of your food anymore.
What? You've got some nerve saying such things. Such a rude wife. Ungrateful, too. Remember this. I brought some meat and potatoes today.
What? You came over to our house today?
You're so careless leaving your son alone in the house.
It's fine, it's just for a short while. He's already in elementary school after all.
Your son was there, so I went in and left some food.
Didn't I tell you that it was fine if you didn't bring any more food?
Today's the last day. You tell me that my food is unwanted even when I'm bringing it out of goodwill. To be honest, you hurt my feelings, so I won't be bringing any more food.
It's fine if all you do is bring food, but I don't understand why you always have to insult my work and take home the food my family's been looking forward to.
Insult? But I've only been saying the truth. You say you're a food researcher, but that's basically just a housewife that only cooks, right?
I don't really think insulting a job like that is a good idea. If you say things like that in public, people are going to call you out.
Stop scolding me. You're just my son's wife, right?
Why not just stop doing things that will get you scolded? Oh, and about the meat and potatoes, you do know that my son and husband can't eat it, right?
Really?
There's no way you didn't know this. Oh, and I'm currently on a diet, so I won't be able to eat it either.
Don't waste the food I brought. Eat it, will you? I made a lot.
A lot?
Enjoy the flavor, okay? Someone whose job revolves around food won't just throw it out, right?
Fine, I'll eat it.
Oh, and I brought some of the soup you made with me, alright?
Again?
I'll stop bringing you food since you hate it so much. But I'll come and take some food every now and then, alright? I need to check if the food you're giving to your family is safe to eat.
What do you mean, check?
I'd hate if my son or grandson fell ill because of your cooking, you see. Take care of the meat and potatoes, okay? It's sure to be better than the food you make.
Lisa, just what are you thinking?
Andy, what's the matter?
My mother collapsed because of the food you made. What did you give her? You must have put some sort of poison in there, didn't you?
Poison?
It's the curry you made! She collapsed right after eating the curry you made. Her mouth was foaming. She hit her head and had to get stitches.
I'm pretty sure she's the one who made that.
Mother said that she was pushed by you.
So, that's how it is. Andy, that's a lie she must have told you.
A lie?
I'll show you my smartphone. So take a look at the conversations your mother and I have been having. I've never given her any of my food willingly. She always just takes the food from my fridge.
Why would she do such a thing?
She always insults my cooking. Maybe she thought just taking our food was wrong. So she always left some of her food, which we didn't ask for as well. I told her to stop, but she wouldn't.
Is this true?
Ask my husband if you want. The food he wants to eat is always taken, and in return, he's always given food he doesn't want. He's pretty unsatisfied with the whole situation as well. Now she just takes our food without giving anything, though.
But you said Mother was the one who made the curry, right?
2 days ago, Mrs. Johnson brought some meat and potatoes. But my son and husband hate it, and I'm on a diet. So my husband turned the meat and potatoes into curry so that they could eat it.
You're saying that's what Mother ate?
She must have snuck in and stole it again without knowing that it was something she made in the first place.
You guys didn't eat it?
I had a small taste, but I was fine. But it must be the curry's fault that my stomach feels strange. I'm glad I noticed before my son and husband ate it. I wonder what was in those meat and potatoes.
Did Mother know that you were the only one who could eat the meat and potatoes? I wonder if this means that she put something in it to make you sick.
That must be the case. We've had arguments over my cooking previously. This must have been her trying to get revenge.
I'm sorry. I'm ashamed of my own mother.
How is she?
She hit her head and was unconscious for a while, but she's regained consciousness and has been insulting you ever since.
Her attitude towards me has been terrible since a while back. She always insults my work. I don't know what she put in those meat and potatoes, but this is a crime, right?
Yes, it is. Quite a heavy one as well.
Why don't we meet and talk things over, Andy? I'll show you how my mother has been treating me.
Ugh, my head hurts. The doctor said that there may be after effects. That Lisa is such a bitch. I'll have George divorce her as soon as I leave the hospital.
What are you talking about, Mother? Isn't it your own fault you collapsed?
What are you talking about? It's because that bitch of a wife put some sort of poison in the curry I ate. It's her fault that...
But aren't you the one who made it? You still haven't noticed? The curry you ate was originally the meat and potatoes you gave her.
What? The meat and potatoes? You forced her to take it, right?
No one would eat it, so they turned into curry, she said. The one you stole and ate.
That was... I guess it did kind of smell like meat and potatoes.
It's so lucky that you were the one who ate it and not them. I'm glad only you were the one who got hurt.
What do you mean by that?
You know what you did was a crime, right? What if Lisa was the one who got hospitalized? Just imagining it makes me shiver.
What is it with you? Quit over-exaggerating.
But didn't you just collapse and hit your head? If it was Lisa and not you, then you truly would be the criminal.
What do you mean, criminal?
I don't know about these after effects of yours, but I know that I won't be helping you all right. I'm not even going to visit you in the hospital anymore.
You plan on leaving your mother?
Yes, goodbye.
This is Lisa. It seems you ate the curry and collapsed, and that there was foam coming out of your mouth. Just what did you put in those meat and potatoes?
You bitch. Why'd you turn the meat and potatoes into curry?
Because no one would eat it. My husband and son would eat it as long as it tasted different.
You really are bothersome.
Well, I did leave it as it was for one day, but neither my son or husband would eat it. I thought that reusing the ingredients would be better than just throwing it away. I'm so glad you stole it before anyone else could eat it.
So you didn't even eat a bit of what someone gave you as a gift.
I had a little as a taste test. My stomach felt strange after that, though. I'm thinking of going to the doctor if it gets worse.
Why didn't you eat it? I told you to eat it, all right?
And didn't I tell you that I couldn't? Did you hear a word I said?
Right? Shut up. You've insulted me again. You better get ready for when I get out of the hospital.
Shouldn't you be worrying about yourself more? It seems that Andy won't be talking to you anymore. My family plans on doing the same. I told George about what happened, and it seems he was quite disappointed in you.
What? Even George?
Anyway, Mrs. Johnson, is what you're saying about the after effects true?
Yes. The doctor said something about how there might be abnormalities in the brain. He said that there might be numbness in the feet and hands, and even memory loss later on. And you're saying that you all are going to leave me?
Yes. You no longer have any family to support you, so good luck on your own.
You wretch!
Do you still plan on taking that attitude towards me? Why don't you take a moment and think about the situation you're in? As long as I don't forgive you, there's no way your family will either.
You're telling me to apologize.
Nothing good will come if you keep taking that attitude. You'll probably never see your children ever again. Oh wait, I guess that's already guaranteed.
Don't steal my children from me.
There's something I want to ask you. Just what did you put in those meat and potatoes?
That was pesticide, but I only put a little.
But you collapsed and foamed from your mouth, so it must have been pretty strong. Anyone knows that pesticide is toxic. It would have been really bad if a child had eaten it. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I can't forgive you.
But you're the one who started it by refusing my cooking.
In my opinion, cooking is something that's supposed to make people happy. It's the central idea of my work. You have no right to go around giving people that food of yours. Please live the rest of your life alone, so that no one will have to eat your cooking ever again. After that, it seems that Mrs. Johnson was quite troubled by the aftereffects of hitting her head. Decline in language ability, numbness of the hands and feet, insomnia, and decline of vision were just some of the symptoms. It seems that she has to undergo rehabilitation. She had no family to support her, and it seems she really had to do it all by herself. But she must have lost the will, and eventually stopped going to the hospital and now just stays in her house. I sometimes meet Andy, and we get along for the most part. She's apologized to me for what her mother did, but it's not her fault. As someone whose job revolves around cooking, I can't forgive what Mrs. Johnson did. What she did was a straight crime. I, on the other hand, will continue to make food that makes people happy.
I never knew it was a monster that gave birth to you. I thought all I would be doing today was meeting your parents before we got married, not having a run-in with Frankenstein.
Josh, you know I don't like it when you get like this and say these kinds of things. And what sort of awful way is that to talk about my mom?
Your mom? Sorry, I was talking about the scarred monster that you keep in your house. You really should have given me some warning, you know that? I would have brought my sword and shield to try and slay it or something. But instead, I was caught totally off guard when she walked into the room.
You really can be the worst sometimes. And I did tell you before we went to visit my mom. I told you that she was burned years ago and still has some scarring on her face. And I can't believe you actually whistled when you saw what she looked like.
Well, sure, you told me that she had some scarring. I just didn't think it was going to be that big. I'll be honest, I feel sick just looking at her face. I've never seen something so ugly in my life.
What is wrong with you? Besides, it's all my fault that she has those burns. There was a fire at the house one day when my mom was taking care of me. She rushed right into the flames to rescue me, and that's how she got her burns.
Wow, that is really a touching story. But I just got one question. Where's the punchline to your little sob story?
Punchline? No, this is completely real.
Was the house on fire because an angry mob of villagers tried to burn it down?
Screw you! What has gotten into you? You've always acted like such a kind gentleman around me. Was that just a lie? I couldn't believe how quickly your personality changed once you met my mom.
Well, that's not my fault. Anyone would laugh like I did after seeing such a horrible face. I mean, she looked like some kind of final boss from a horrible fantasy game. I really thought I was going to hear some dramatic final boss music when she walked out. She looked like some kind of villain from a Saturday morning cartoon show.
Look, even as a joke, I don't think this is funny. But are you being serious right now?
Of course I am. And what about you? Did you forget the man you're engaged to? I work for one of the finest publishers in the whole country, and I'm on the fast track for a promotion. Or don't you remember? Do you know how many big writers and artists come to us looking to publish their works?
Yes, I know. I did not forget. That is one of the reasons why I thought you were so amazing when we first met. I really respected what you did. That's partially why I'm so shocked at how you were acting today.
I was just so surprised. I mean, how does a Hollywood monster like that even function in society? Is there even a company that would give your mom a job with a mug like that? There's no way she could ever work in the service industry or where anyone could look at her. Any business that hired her to work directly with customers would go under in an instant.
Well, yes, she did have to quit her old job after saving me from the fire, so it's all my fault, really.
Look, Samantha, you're a beautiful girl, so maybe it's just that you haven't noticed this yet, but the world only cares about one thing, and that, my dear, is how somebody looks. Do you understand? Anyways, that's partially why I was expecting your mom to be as beautiful as you are. And then, all of a sudden, the toxic Avenger walked into the room.
Look, you're being really rude right now. My mom is a human being. How can you think it's so funny to keep calling her all these terrible things? She is the way she is now because she risked her own life to save me. I thought you'd be able to look past her scars and see the kind heart and caring soul that it took to do that.
That is fine and all, but there was nothing that could have prepared me for the way she looks. Besides, a kind heart doesn't put bread on the table. I work my butt off every day trying to climb up my company's ladder. Do you understand? Those are the only kinds of people that society recognizes.
And you're trying to say that my mom isn't one of those hardworking people?
I'm just saying that I bet the only job that monster could get is some night shift part-time gig in the back of a store. Besides, don't forget that you were only hired for your good looks anyway. Do you think the company would let you keep your position if your face had some giant scar in it? All I'm trying to say is that you should remember what you have going for you and not forget your place.
What are you even talking about? I can't believe what you're saying. Besides, it's not like you were hired for your amazing talents either.
No, you don't know what I'm talking about. I have the kind of job where it does not matter what you look like as long as you can do the work. Just don't even try to compare what your mom does and what I do for a living. I got this far in my career because of my skills and my hard work.
Okay, whatever. You just keep on saying whatever you want to. I don't care anymore.
There's no way I could let some freak like that be my mother-in-law, so the wedding is off.
Fine then. Do it.
By the way, just so we're clear, if anyone asks, I'll say it was your fault that things didn't work out.
What? What are you even talking about?
Well, after all, it's the truth, isn't it? It's over because your mom is a horrible monster. But if people know that I broke things off with a babe like you, they might start giving me the cold shoulder. You understand, right?
If you really care so much about what other people around you think, then why are you acting like this to me?
Okay, this is going nowhere fast. I'm tired of this conversation. This is the end, Sam. Goodbye. I can get a date with another cute girl anytime I want, so don't ever message me again.
Oh, trust me, the feeling is mutual. I don't ever want to hear from you ever again. Do you hear me? Goodbye and good riddance. Did you talk with Josh? Is everything all right? I thought you were going to try and bring him back into the house, but then you never came back, so I was just getting a bit worried. Mom, I'm so sorry for today. I never thought he was that kind of person. I couldn't believe my eyes when he opened his mouth, and then he just took off. In the end, he called off the wedding. Via text, he didn't even call. I'm sorry, Samantha. Well, he certainly did have an impact, I'll say that much. I just didn't realize people like that really existed. To be honest, I was surprised at first, but now I think it'll just make a good story. I'm sorry, Mom, but I really can't bring myself to see things that way. To think that he hid who he truly was from me this whole time? But I see this as a good thing. Imagine if you found out the kind of person he was after you two got married. Well, anyways, as your mother, I can't help but feel a little bit relieved. It would have been just horrible if you two actually got married. Well, yeah, I think you have a point, but... Anyways, you said he works for Femme Publishing, right? Yes, that is where he works. It's almost the only thing he ever talks about. He's so proud of it. But I really think that all he does is hurt the company's image. Why do you ask, though? Just organizing my thoughts right now. You said he called off the wedding as well. Yes, it was so horrible, Mom. If he didn't do it, I would have called it off myself, but still. He said that he couldn't be with me any longer because of you. He probably said something like he couldn't marry someone with a monster for a mother, didn't he? That's right. You really know how to read people, huh? Well, actually, I managed to track down some of his socials. You may not have known this, but your mom can be quite the social media pro. Is that so? I really never knew that about you. And it seems your ex is saying a lot of things online that might give people the wrong impression. With all these lies he's spouting, it might make it difficult for you to find another boyfriend. Wait, what? What kinds of things has he been saying? Just horrible things about your mother and the other comments that give off that impression. He really is making me seem like some kind of monster straight out of the movies. At this rate, he'll scare off any guys in a 10-mile radius. This one really is a stand-up guy, isn't he? Wow, he is unbelievable! To think that he would stoop so low? And yet, he hasn't said one thing about the burns on my face. Maybe you should just let your mom take care of this one, Samantha. I don't mind what anyone says to me, but I won't forgive anyone who hurts my daughter's feelings. You really think you can handle this, Mom?
I'm so sorry about yesterday. I was being so rude yesterday, and I sincerely apologize. So please, let me talk things over with your mom.
Wow, someone's had a real change of heart since yesterday, huh? Is this your way of trying to come crawling back to me? Or is this just about your job?
Look, I really don't think that now is the time to be having this talk. Besides, I never knew that your mom was the Katrina Pulsov, as in the Pulitzer Prize-winning author. If I had known that, I would have never said the things I did yesterday. Please, forgive me.
And what does my mom being a famous author have to do with anything? Did you think that just because someone had burns like that, there was no way they could ever be a successful author?
No. I still think your mom is a disfigured monster, but she's a genius disfigured monster. And I mean, we're talking about Katrina Pulsov here. Who cares what she looks like? No, wait, she would probably be even more famous if she didn't keep her face hidden. I would have never guessed I was so close to such an important literary figure.
Anyways, Mom said she decided to cancel all of her contracts with Femme Publishing. It's too bad you let that important figure slip right through your fingers.
Exactly, so please forgive me. I need your mom to come back to our company. Your mother was Fern's flagship author. And now my bosses are telling me that it's all my fault she left. If things keep going this way, then I'll be fired.
Wow, that must really suck for you, huh? And to think that if you weren't such a horrible person and we did end up getting married, then you would have had a direct connection with an award-winning author. It's too bad, you know? You were doing such a good job climbing that corporate ladder, too.
You don't have to say those kinds of things, you know? It's not like I was trying to be mean or anything.
You weren't trying to be mean. So you making fun of my mother like that is just your way of interacting with people? Treating them like monsters for scars and features that they can't control?
Well, look, I maybe possibly could have taken things a little far. But it was all just a joke, so what's the big deal? That's why I'm uncanceling the wedding and putting everything back how it was.
Excuse me? And just who exactly do you think you are going to be marrying this time around? Have you lost your mind, or have you always been this stupid?
Oh, come on, just give me a break already. We were engaged to be married. The whole thing is just one big misunderstanding. All I want is for you to explain things to your mom so that she knows it's all a big joke too.
Oh, really? Because I didn't get the feeling that you were joking about the things you said one bit. And it didn't seem like you were joking when you posted all that crap all over your socials.
But I didn't even write about why I broke up with you. I was thinking of you and knew I shouldn't give out the details. Like about how it was all because of your mother's hideous scarring. But be realistic. What other guy would still want to marry you after seeing your mom?
If there are really that many men out there who would run away after seeing her, then I want nothing to do with any of them. And that includes you, so just leave me alone already. Thank goodness you showed me who you truly were before we got married.
Samantha, you're being unreasonable right now. And why didn't you ever tell me about who your mom really was? Don't you think that was bad of you to do?
To be honest, I didn't know either. I know she was some kind of author or writer or something, but I actually never knew she was such a big deal in the literary world. It's all thanks to this little incident that I found out.
Really? You're telling me you never knew before now? Katrina Pulsov's own daughter didn't even know who she really was?
Well, yes. Pulsov is her maiden name for one. I never put two and two together, and I guess she never felt the need to tell me. I guess she was never the type of person who wanted to coast along on her reputation as a famous author. She really didn't like the way people would act around her once they found out, I guess. But my mom made an exception this once in order to protect me.
To protect you? Even so, don't you think she is taking things just a little too far?
You really think so? It all makes perfect sense to me. After all, it was a member of Femme Publishing that laughed at her scars, called her a monster on social media, and broke off his engagement with her daughter via text. I really don't see how anyone could keep a contract with a company whose employees behave like that. And besides, it's not like it's hard for her to find a company that wants to publish her books.
But if she really goes through with this, then it will all be my fault and I'll be fired. Please, I'm begging you, just convince your mom not to cancel her contract with us. This is just a personal problem. It shouldn't affect our work lives or anything like that.
But you're the one who's putting your company name all over your social media profiles while you hung me out to dry. Even if you didn't write about the details exactly, you didn't leave much up to the imagination. So, it seems the real problem you have is with her.
Well, I guess you could say that, but...
And that's why she's making sure you get put in your place.
Wait, what are you talking about now?
I think she just uploaded it, actually. Why don't you go and have a look?
What is this? She put out an official statement against the things that I said to her? And wrote it to her daughter's idiot ex-fiancé who shamed me for my burns? How could she publish something like this?
Well, you started it with all the posts you made after we broke up. She was not pleased one bit with what she saw. Then she noticed you had a lot of followers and worried that things you were saying might hurt my chances with any other men in the future.
And so that's why you're posting about me now? I'll never be able to show my face in public again. What am I supposed to do?
Oh, so you just now realized that the things you were doing weren't right? If that's the case, then why don't you man up and accept responsibility? After all, that's life that these things happen, right?
No, well, yes, but... I guess in a moral kind of sense, what I did wasn't right, but...
Anyways, I don't care how much you apologize now. It's much too late for you.
Samantha, please, just tell your mom to change her mind. What am I supposed to do for a living if I get fired?
Don't forget that you tried to ruin my life too. All you did was blame people for things that weren't their fault. And judge people just from what you could see on the surface? I hope the world tears you apart now that they know what an ugly person you are on the inside. After that, Kurt was made to take responsibility for losing my mom's contract and was promptly fired. He also went viral for all the horrible things he said. I hear he's having a hard time getting hired anywhere now. After all, no one wants someone who judges people and treats them like monsters for how they look to represent their company, no matter how good they look themselves.